Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the please. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the rip and we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing yet. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Hey, yo, Jay. Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin is quite boring, guys. Bitcoin is basically just going sideways. The alts are getting crushed. We got a lot to look at today on tonight's live stream, guys. We're going to cover all the price action as we don't really have too much to go over. I'm actually going to be running a little bit of a shorter stream. I know we said that yesterday and then basically did a full stream, but I actually do have to get out of here. So we're going to do a quick Bitcoin update. I'll try to take a look at some of the altcoins. I'll give you guys my overall thoughts, but to be quite honest with you, my plan has pretty much remained the same. I'm still holding my short from the top, and we're just waiting for one of these bigger levels to get hit. We're going to be going over those levels today. And yeah, we'll take a look at Market Cypher B. We have some potential for some short-term upside, kind of similar to what we were looking at yesterday, but Bitcoin just kind of grinding sideways in this super tight range. So we'll take a look at the bull case, we'll take a look at the bear case, and then I'll let you guys know which way I'm leaning. But shout out to the Mafia. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in right now. Smash that like button, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we will be giving away $150. I almost said 150 days. $150 in Solana. So smash up that like button. We got Ken in the chat. What is going on, bro? Say, can you cover TA on Fart Boy, please? I thought it was gonna say Fart Coin. Is that a new coin? Shout out to Ken. Thank you for being here. We can look for the ticker. Bro. Shout out to Jay Violet. What is going on? We got YJT in the chat. Said, take me out of my misery. Shout out to YJT. Yeah, this is a absolutely brutal market, guys. Yeah, we are, Bitcoin's boring. The altcoins are getting crushed. Nobody's having fun right now unless you're in a short position like we are. But let's see. We got V-Sun in the chat. What is going on, man? Welcome in. We got Short Video Guy said, yay. Shout out to Short Video Guy. Welcome in. We got Jesse in the chat. The like police. If he asks you to smash that like button, guys, please listen to him because you don't want to get thrown in the like jail. So shout out to you, man. We got Bitcoin Ronin in the chat. Said, yup, just bing-bonging around. Absolutely. We got Praytham in the chat. Said, Traders Market, baby. Shout out to Praytham. We got Nirvana in the chat. And Nirvana was singing the song earlier today, wah, 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 which is exactly how I sing it, bro. You had me cracking up when I saw that chat. But let's see. What's up, Candle? Shout out to Roboballs. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. We got P-Dub in the chat. Let's see. Play with Vine, Adrenaline Junkies only. Shout out to P-Dub. But yeah, guys, we got a lot to look at here. Not really a lot, but we got some stuff to look at here on the chart. So without further ado, we got Pennywise in the chat, or someone dropping the Penny. Jesse saying what's up to Penny. I don't see him in the chat, but hopefully, oh, there he is. Pennywise, shout out to you, man. Dropping that smash that like button emoji. Shout out to Pennywise, everybody's favorite, we think, friendly clown. Shout out to Pennywise. But guys, without further ado, shout out to Tex-Mex Biomex in the chat. Welcome in, bro. He says, hola. Welcome in, bro. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of this black coffee real quick, guys. We got the see-through cup today. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump in here, guys. Now, as you know, Bitcoin yesterday was kind of just bing-bonging around sideways here, and here we are again at the same prices we were at yesterday. So as you guys know, I'm going to kind of start here on the higher time frames. Now, before we go into the actual TI, I kind of just want to talk about, what we could potentially expect here, guys, and like the main scenarios that I'm looking at. Now, obviously, we can look at market cipher B as we have our money flow crossing over into the red here, which is obviously going to be more of a macro bearish case. Looking at that as a potential indication for a continuation to the downside, looking for potential lower highs and continuations to lower prices. And we do have some key support down here around $91,000. And then once we start breaking these range lows, guys, this is kind of where we can expect that bigger drop to the downside, potentially targeting between about $85,000 and $80,000. Now, again, hopefully, I hope that we don't have to see this happen, but that is potentially a scenario that we can see play out with that money flow coming to the downside here. And just I kind of wanted to cover this without the TA on the chart because, very simply put, guys, when we're just looking at money flow, it's a little bit simpler to look at it without all the levels on the chart because obviously there's going to be a lot of intricacies within the price action. But at the end of the day, if this money flow is going to continue into a bigger red wave, we are going to be anticipating lower highs and continuations to the downside. And again, once we break this range low, we could see a lot of that liquidity that we have sitting below $88,000 start to get taken, pushing us into our macro levels of support, which that golden pocket is still sitting between about $82,000 and $80,000. So that is kind of the more bearish case if we are going to see that play out. I do want to bring that up. I've been talking about it forever, ever since we came down over here in the middle of January. We were kind of talking about those levels as well. Those levels are still down there, and with the way money flow looks, it is potentially a possibility that we have to look at. We also have the weekly bearish divergence confirmed. We also have the monthly red dot with a potential monthly bearish divergence printing here as well, which definitely could give us the power to get that bigger drop to the downside. But we'll get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of the TA there because there's some, internal scenarios that can happen. There's no guarantee that we're definitely going to get that drop down all the way to 80 to 82. But if we did, again, I am not calling bear market just yet, guys. That could be a very big level of support. As you guys know, if you watch the show, we talk about this almost every single day. But that's kind of the higher time frame situation, right? Weekly red dot is confirmed. We still have the 6-day bearish divergence is now confirmed. 5-day bearish divergence is now confirmed as well. These higher time frame bearish divergences oftentimes do give us pullbacks. The question is, have they already kind of played out here with that big liquidation wick, or are we going to see that continuation to the downside? And I do kind of want to compare this, guys, back to some previous price action, more specifically on Ethereum. There is something that when we came up and made this first high in 2021, there is something that looks a little bit similar on Ethereum that could be calling for more downside as well. But as you guys know, we are not just fully bearish and only looking for shorts because obviously, like I said, we do have those nitty-gritty situations we could see play out where we could potentially put in some higher lows and maybe yoink, I'm not going to say it, yoink out of this range into new highs, and we'll take a look at that situation as well. But that's kind of the overall scenario here, guys. When we take a look at those higher time frames, we have to keep in mind that these are bearish signals that could continue, this downtrend. And it's just something we have to be aware of, right? Let's see. Is that a BTC double top? Oh, baby. 1, 2. Yeah, I mean, I would say that is a pretty clear double top. But does that mean that we're absolutely going to nuke from here? Does it mean the bull market's over? Not necessarily. I would say there's probably a higher chance that we could continue down. But I don't know, how certain it would be that this is going to be, the top of the market. Now, could it be? Could 110 be the top of the bull market? As you guys know, anything is possible here. We could potentially see that happen. But the problem here is, if we did wind up seeing that drop down to about 80 to 82,000, this is where everybody's going to be saying bear market confirmed, which again, like, could they wind up being right? Sure. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at this from a TA perspective, right, this would obviously just be a retracement into a very significant, golden pocket retracement here when pulled from the low to the high. So, at that point, right, everyone's calling bear market, but we have to understand we are at key support. Now, once we start breaking down below $80,000, that is where I start to get a little bit more concerned. Technically, we do have that 786. And again, it's a lot harder to say that's the top of the bull market rather than if we lose this 786, we could see more downside. But again, it's really hard to say, right? At what point do you really start to say, hey, this is going to be likely the top of the bull market? We're going into a massive bear market. That is a little bit harder to call. But once we start seeing really important structure broken on higher time frames like the monthly, that's kind of where we could really start to say, hey, maybe we are in a bear market. But as of right now, at least on Bitcoin, we're pretty far away from that. And again, altcoins is obviously a much different story. So let me go ahead and pull up some of this TA, guys. Obviously, we have our major range here. Like I said, not much has really changed here as Bitcoin has kind of just been bonging around this POC for quite some time. As we've been talking about, that POC does like to act as a magnet for price. And the two major scenarios that I'm looking at here, guys, is if we are able, and I will say we are starting to put in some lower time frame or, lower hourly time frame bullish divergences. We have the lower lows on our price action, higher lows on our momentum waves. So if we are able to get above here, flip this to support and get that bigger move to the upside, I'm really just waiting to see if we could get these bigger moves. Now, like I said, I did take some, I took a stab at a scalp long position yesterday that literally, guys, you can't make it up, right? I took that long here and I literally got stopped out right before we went for the move. Now, it didn't play out all the way to our final TP, but it did come up to TP1. But I just had my stop loss a little bit tight there and I got stopped out right before the move. But other than that, guys, this is super, this is not my favorite place to be looking for trades, right? We're basically in the middle of this. We are in the middle of this volume profile sitting around that POC. And as we know, for the bigger trades, guys, the higher probability situations or the higher probability setups are going to be sitting at the value area high or the deviations above or the value area low with those deviations below. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be looking at as far as the next trade. So, for the most part, right, we get a rip up here into that value area high. This is where I am going to be interested in bigger short positions. And if we get the continuation to the downside, which I would argue, and it is kind of hard to call this, to be honest. Typically, we can look at Market Cipher B and say, there's a much higher probability of one thing happening than another. But, it is a little bit hard to call here, right? Because if we come up to the daily time frame, obviously money flow is coming out. But if we were able to get this daily green dot at some point, maybe we get it tonight, maybe we get it tomorrow morning. But if we get that daily green dot, that could give us another little ebb to the upside. But again, even if we did get a shot all the way back up to this value area high, if this money flow continues into the red, it is going to be a little bit more of a bearish situation. So I'm definitely either way going to be looking for shorts at that value area high. And if we get that bigger drop down to the value area low, that's where I'm going to be looking for longs. The question is, when is this daily green dot going to print? I do think this is going to be the signal to look at if you want to see a bigger move up. I think we're going to need that daily green dot to do it. So that is one thing that I am looking at. And actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in. If you did not know, shout out to Market Cipher, you can actually set alerts here on Market Cipher B. If you don't want to sit there and wait for that green dot to confirm, you can go ahead and add an alert. Market Cipher B, green dot, and there you go, right? Possible long. I don't know why that says that, but I'll change that from possible long to possible pump. But in general, guys, this is not really the area where I like to look for trades, right? I'm still holding my short here from the rejection of this weekly level that we had up here. Go ahead and show that level right here, right? We rejected that weekly. I am in a short from a retest here. So that is still in profit. I showed this yesterday and the day before. Just still kind of sitting there in that same exact spot, right? Still up about $2,000. Got $700 locked in. Stop loss in profit here still. And we're just kind of wiggling around, just sitting here, right? And again, this is not really necessarily a place where I'm not interested in trades, right? Can you catch a scalp position? Potentially, right? And I will bring up some local levels within this kind of consolidation that we can look at. But again, they're just smaller trades. I'm not really interested in getting in on them. I'd rather just see price play out. If I get stopped out of the short, we get stopped out in profit. And then again, when we start looking at some of these other higher time frames, we have our 16-hour, no green dot printing just yet, but your 12-hour red dot is printing. So if we come on down to this 45-minute money flow, we have that 45-minute money flow already in the red. So things are this is just a choppy market, guys. This is just kind of one of those times where it's there's not many really good opportunities, right? And like I always say, sometimes knowing when to sit out of the positions, guys, is a very, very just as important as knowing when to get into the positions, right? So no, not that you can't scalp these, but not really something I'm interested in the for the major trades, right? Shout out to Thesis himself. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said Tia finally tapped the long. It's almost free. Shout out to Thesis himself. Yeah, Tia. Maybe we'll take a look at Tia today when we take a look at the altcoins. Thank you for that, Thesis. I appreciate you, bro. But yeah, Tia. Obviously, actually, I looked at Tia earlier today. So doing anything fun? Yeah, we're just sitting inside of this low volume gap, guys, and we knew, once we cracked that into this low volume gap, we were likely to see a large fall to the downside, as there was literally zero volume, developed down here, right? We just had this massive volume gap that we were looking at, understanding that if we were going to see a break into this white box, we were very, very, very likely to see that quick move to the downside. Now, obviously, we are developing a high volume node here as prices kind of trying to consolidate. It looks like it might just break down to come fill this wick. before we actually had that price action develop down here, it was basically just a massive low volume gap, which is what made me say, hey, guys, if we break below that white box, probably going to get a very, very fast drop to the downside. And we literally filled that gap to the tick here, which is absolutely insane. Wish I caught that short position, to be honest. but yeah, let's continue on Bitcoin. We'll come back over to the alts in a minute. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, guys, this is pretty much what we're looking at, right? Like, we're in the middle of the range. The anticipation here, again, if we had tapped this value area high, I would have a much higher conviction in getting a loss of this POC and a drop down to the low. But because we did not tap that value area high, I am kind of open, right? I'm kind of neutral here, just waiting to see if I get stopped out in profit on the short to come up and attack that value area high and potentially, get a bigger move out here, right? And I'm going to take a look at these local levels in a minute. But other than that, we'll see. If we get stuck under the value POC, we can see that bigger drop to the downside. Don't forget, we do have our local Fibonacci retracement, or not local, from this full move from the swing low to the swing high here. We have the golden pocket 786 Fibonacci retracements. This is an opportunity to potentially look for long positions. Now, another reason, again, I said this yesterday, I am not necessarily very interested in this for the simple reason of could you potentially get in here, right? Put the higher low in and rip off into new all-time highs? Potentially, but at this point, right, once you get that bounce off the golden pocket, you're still below that POC, and based off the volume profiles, it is just a little bit more of a risky long. So if I were to take any scalp longs down here, even if we do wind up ripping into new all-time highs, I would be kind of treating that as a scalp at first, understanding that you do have key resistance right above you, which is that POC at 97,390. So you just got to be a little bit careful with those Fibonacci retracements, but definitely areas where I will be looking for trades in the premium Discord. But we'll see what happens if we do get down to those levels. But that's pretty much the overall situation, guys. We're basically just kind of hanging around this POC. So we got to see what happens. And then, hopefully we can get a big rip up or a big rip down so we have something to talk about tomorrow and some more saucy TA to look at. Other than that, we're just kind of waiting for price to work itself out here. Super boring trading days for the past 2 days, unfortunately. But I want to take off this main range here, guys, and I want to take a look at some of these local levels that we can pay attention to, right? And let me pull up these little scalp ranges here. So I'll come on down to something like the 1 hour time frame, and let's take a look here, right? Now, this is a very, very kind of complicated situation that we have here. I'm actually going to take some of this stuff off the chart real quick. Actually, let me just hide it because I don't want to delete it fully. So I'll just get rid of some of this stuff so we can clean it up and look at it in a little bit more of a simple perspective. Let me just go ahead and hide these local fibs. Bada boom. We have the anchored VWAP from the high there. I'll get rid of this trend line. Okay, so, and I will actually also get rid of this Fibonacci retracement. So, guys, we kind of have two situations that I'm looking at here locally, right? And this is, again, on the 1 hour time frame. So this is lower time frame. But we kind of have, I have this volume profile pulled from the high here to just kind of include all of these candles here. And it's not really a clean range. The only real clean range that we have is super hyper local here. So this is kind of the perspective that I'm looking at right now in the medium to short term. We were actually printing the 1 hour bullish divergence, which is now confirmed, which obviously, just really trying to get above that value area low. But you have the lower lows on your price action, higher lows on your momentum waves here. And, if we were able to get above this local value area low, we could see a push into that POC, which is going to be a very confluent level of resistance. We have the point of control, the anchored VWAP from this local high here. And we also have, if we pull our Fibonacci retracements, we have our golden pocket 786 retracement right in confluence with that point of control. So, this is going to be kind of a big level of resistance. And like I said, with this choppy price action, guys, this TA is somewhat, not messy, but very crowded, right? So this is in simple terms what we can look at. However, if I take this off the chart, we can also look at another range here. You can see we have lows, highs, lows, highs. This is kind of that super tight range that we're respecting. So we can also look at the price in terms of this kind of more local profile. So we have a profile inside of another profile, which again is just super chopped up. There's so many levels to look at, which is why I'm willing to just kind of take a step back, let price action develop, and just wait for those higher time frame levels to get hit. I'm not really interested in trading this, although if you were looking at this local range, you could still trade this volume profile with your deviations below the low into the POC, into the high. You reject the high, go back to the POC, back to the low. But really, I'm just letting things kind of work themselves out here. So this is kind of the local analysis that I'm looking at. Just keep in mind that we do have the we have some decent levels above us, right? You have the POC 786. golden pocket, right, with that anchored VWAP coming down as well. So that's probably going to be very confluent. So if we were, right, locally, this value area low is coming in at $96,780. If we get above here, we could look for that push up into this zone where we could potentially see another rejection if we're just going to continue this aggressive downtrend. Just keep hitting our head on this anchored VWAP. That VWAP's probably going to come pretty close to right there as well. So if we did get, locally, if we're going to get a push to the upside, maybe we get above this value area low, push into this golden pocket 786 POC zone. And then if we are able to push above this, that's where we could potentially look for the bigger rip to the upside, targeting the value area high at about $99,575, which would really only be a, come on, give me that, 3% move to the upside. So, it is tradable, but again, you have this local volume profile in here. It's just very, very messy. Just not something I really like to mess around with. But if we were able to get above that 786, that would open the door to get a bigger move to the upside into that value area high at $99,575. And then, once we wind up doing that, if I pull this back up, we also do have some confluence up here at that value area high. Again, $99,556. And then, if we got out of there, we have a golden pocket up there in confluence with the value area high. So another key level of resistance that we would have to get above. If we were able to break out of here, guys, I would say it's a pretty good chance, pretty high probability that we will likely get a move into this high here, right? Because we do have liquidity sitting above this high right here, right? This high is sitting at 102,570. This is where we're short from, right? I actually entered in on a retracement there, so I didn't, short the exact top. But we do have liquidity sitting above there, and don't forget we have that value area high. So if we're able to work our way out of this kind of mess of levels here, get above that 786, look for the local value area high, break out of here, that's where I think you could potentially come up and attack that value area high, which is hopefully what we see, right? I'll get stopped out of my short position, but obviously it will be stopped out in profit, which is super nice. And then we can just look to reassess the situation up here and see if we have a better setup to take so we can look for more shorts. And, am I going to, I don't really mind missing out on this long position just because of the choppiness down here. I already took a stab at it long yesterday, got stopped out. And even though it did wind up coming up to TP1, we just wound up coming back down. So, and with the way money flow looks right now on the daily, it's kind of hard to say, right? Even if that daily green dot does print and we do get a move through all those local levels and we push up into this value area high, this is going to be an opportunity to potentially continue putting in lower highs for that money flow to continue into the red, giving you that continuation of that downtrend. Remember, money flow always is going to indicate the longer term trend. The green dot could give you a little ebb to the upside, but you have to look at that through the lens of potential lower highs and continuations to lower prices. Now, if we break out of that value area high, guys, this is in my opinion, if we get up here, let's say we get that green dot to print, we push up here, and I will say this, right? Like this money flow is crossing into the red, but if we can get a quick rip back into the green here and get a fake out, right? We can't really predict this happening, but it is a possibility in a bull market to get that fake out back into the green. And if we were to see that, that's kind of where I would be looking at a potential, we flip that $102,000 level to support. That's where we potentially have an opportunity to come up much higher and maybe break into all-time highs. But we're going to have to reassess that situation when we get there. All right, so the if this then that is green dot prints on the daily, get a push up here. Maybe we can look for shorts if we get the confirmations. If not, I would anticipate that move to continue to the upside. And again, would I miss out on that long position? Sure. Do I care? Absolutely not. I'll just catch the next position. I talk about this all the time, right? Like if you miss the short, right, it's okay, you could catch the long. If you miss the long, it's okay, you could catch the short. There's always another opportunity on the chart, especially if you're trading the lower time frames. It's not a big deal. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat. Said, hello, goats. Shout out to Jesse. Says, smash that like button on your way in. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. If we get 1,000 likes, we will be giving away $150 in Solana to one lucky CandleMafia member, as well as some free Cardano giveaways to 10 lucky CandleMafia members. Let's see. Shout out to CJ, said Frankie's got Chick-fil-A barbecue sauce on his desk. Yo, shout out to CJ trying to grab some free Solana, baby. Yes, shout out to K Diggity, I think is the one that guessed this. Not only did he guess that we had a to-go cup of barbecue sauce on the desk, but he actually guessed Chick-fil-A. So he gets bonus points for that. All right, let's see. Frankie actually has mustard on his table. Shout out to Ken. Actually, the mustard is gone. Mrs. Candles got mad at me, and she said I ruined the mustard, and she had to throw it out. Sorry, Mrs. Candles. I apologize. We'll get you new mustard. But anyway, let's continue on. Let's see. Don't look at your wallet. Go out, have some fun, and enjoy your life, mates. Yeah, shout out to Shunzin. But guys, that's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Like I said, not too much more to really talk about here. If I had to make an argument for the upside, it's those low time frame bull divs, right? Lower lows, higher lows. Maybe that gives us a squeeze into this, bigger range, lower time frame range, and then Again, I'm not really interested in anything until we get back up here. I'll start analyzing the price and seeing if we can catch some new trades, and then we drop to the downside. We'll look for more longs, and then hopefully, guys, we do not have to lose these lows, because we lose these lows, again, for many reasons. I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but for many reasons, if we start losing this range in a big way, a lot of liquidity down below. We have low volume, right? So we could potentially see that big liquidation wick come in and potentially give us that bigger drop into this macro key level at 80. Golden pocket sitting between about, let me pull up the daily naked points of controls as well. A lot of support down here, right? So we have that golden pocket, this whole long zone really sitting between about 83, 257, all the way down to $80,000. And if we start losing that, guys, Yikes. We do really not want to see that. But hopefully we don't even have to deal with that. But just keep that in mind. We start losing this range, things could get very scary very quickly. Let's see. Shout out to Pix, says, what Market Cipher B plugin do you use? Who created it? Shout out to Pix. This is the Market Cipher B. And CryptoFace created this. So shout out to CryptoFace. This is like one of the best indicators you could possibly use. I use this every single day in my analysis. So yeah, check it out. I highly recommend it. But let's see. Where is alt season? Shout out to Bitfrog. So yeah, let's talk about that, guys. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these altcoins and take a look at what we got going on. I do want to take a look at Ethereum here real quick, guys, because I will say this is kind of, a lot of people, right? A lot of people say, people say this in the chat all the time. Oftentimes, where it wicks, it sticks. You'll hear where it wicks, it sticks, or where it wicks, it goes, right? And oftentimes, or I should say sometimes, you do like to come down and fill these very large liquidation wicks with the actual price action. So sometimes you can see something like this happen. Now, I know this seems brutal for Ethereum to, we got that quick wick down there, which was painful enough, and I know how much more painful that's going to be to see this actually fill. However, we do have our money flow crossover into the red on the daily. This is a bearish sign, guys. That is a bearish sign that could indicate the continuation of that downtrend. And I will just say this, right? I was looking at this earlier today, and this does kind of remind me back here in 2021, if I come on over to you could look at it on the 3-day as well, but if we look at the daily time frame here, you guys can see, right, even if we come into bar replays, this is a pretty good example of this happening, where, Ethereum got that big drop to the downside, huge wick to the downside, and you can see the daily money flow was coming out. It wasn't in the red just yet, but you could see this was kind of one of those cases where we did, you got to bounce to the upside, oh my God, but then money flow still coming to the downside. Let's keep moving forward here, right? You get another little bounce to the downside, and price did wind up somewhat coming down, or not somewhat, but it did wind up coming down, right? It wound up being really choppy, and to be honest with you, how long was this? This was, a whole month of just nasty sideways action before finally seeing that continuation to the downside to fill those wicks, and look what happened here. We did get that money flow crossover into the red, indicating the trend would continue down, and we do come down to fill those wicks before finally getting that bigger bounce to the upside for, a little double bottom there too, so you really did fully fill those wicks, and then you got that bigger bounce to the upside to put in that, second top here in the 2021 bull market. And it does somewhat remind me of what we have going on right now with that huge wick to the downside here. Are we going to see, remember, the daily money flow is in the red. Are we going to see something like that? And the difficult part here, guys, is remember when we saw that happen in 2021, you actually did wind up getting, right, bada boom, bada bing, right? We did actually wind up getting a decent bounce there. So like, even if we did put in a significant bounce here, it does not necessarily mean that the pain is over. And I'm going to talk about some of the key levels I'm looking at where we could potentially see that next rejection to the downside if we are going to see it. Now, it's not just the money flow. It's not just this big liquidation wick. There is something else that I am looking at on the Ethereum chart that makes me a little bit suspicious of that continuation to the downside. And it has everything to do with these wicks down here, or this wick down here specifically, or even some of these wicks down here. We have some liquidity sitting below this wick, guys. Really beneath about $2,200, basically where this wick came down. We do have some liquidity sitting down here, and on top of that, if we were to see that wick fill, right, and again, maybe we get the bounce first, and hopefully we get the bounce and we just keep going, right? I don't want anyone to think that like I want the Ethereum to go down at all. That's not the case. I do hold a lot of ETH, but if we were to see something like that, maybe get some noise, and then we eventually come down and fill that wick. It's very likely if this does occur, it is going to be very confusing, very emotional. Everyone's going to think we're going back up, and then we're going to be like, oh my God, finally ETH's having its day, and then, oh no, now we're just filling that wick. What is going on? Bull market's over, no alt season. And if we were to see that happen, I will just say, guys, we know that liquidity does like to act as a magnet for price. Let me see if I can pull up that liquidation heat map on ETH really quickly just to show you guys. Let me see, bada boom, bada bing, pull up that ETH chart. I'm going to have to pull it up on like probably like the 1 year. Let's see here. Bada boom. Let's see here. Let me see. Let me just try to get the time frame correct here. Maybe the 6 month. I want to make sure that we can see this visibly. Bada boom, right? So this is not I could probably find this better on a different time frame, but you guys can see here, right? Beneath this, we do still have some of that liquidity sitting down below, dipping us down like into the 1,000s, right? Which obviously nobody wants to see, but we do have some of that liquidity still sitting down there. We did take a significant amount of that liquidity, so let's just hope that's enough, and we can this was just a liquidity sweep of those lows before continuing back up. It's impossible to know if we're definitely going to go back down there. The only thing we can really look at is the money flow, right? Money flow coming out on the 2-day, likely continuation to the downside. Like this is, there are reasons to potentially anticipate that. And just the fact that we have that liquidity sitting down there, like I would, if we saw the sweep of those lows, that would, in my opinion, be a better time than, any to potentially be looking, unless ETH's just never going to go to new all-time highs, which, again, I think that's very unlikely, but is it impossible? Absolutely not. I do think if we can come and sweep the rest of that liquidity, it would kind of fill the narrative of, like, coming to fill that wick, and then you kind of finish the low here, sweeping that last wick, grabbing the rest of that liquidity before maybe then finding a bigger move to the upside on Ethereum. So I do just want to bring that up. You have the liquidity down below. You have these wicks untouched down here, and, you have the fill the where it wicks it goes type of situation. And money flow coming out. So, but again, does that mean that we're just going to nuke down there right now? Well, probably not. I would argue that we're probably going to, get everybody excited first, and then we're going to nuke it back down there if we do wind up getting that continuation down. So let me pull some of these levels up for you guys, and let me pull up. Let's see. Does ETH have a volume gap? Let's pull up that VPVR real quick. So, yeah, I mean, we did kind of, let me just analyze this kind of local range, or not local range, but this kind of more recent range that we had. Yeah, so we had a pretty big volume gap down to about, where we're kind of closing these candles or trying to close these candles right now at about 26.79, right? You break down below this high volume node. Obviously, that started your big wick to the downside. All these liquidations melted you through all this support, which is, not uncommon. But you can see we kind of fell through that gap, and now we have wicked back up and held our level here. And if you guys watch the channel, you will know, right? We were talking about how if you lost the danger zone, right, we were probably, because of this low volume gap, we were probably going to see a pretty fast drop through this zone into $2,700 to $2,600 down towards this value area high POC. And again, obviously we did get the, let me make this a little bit bigger. Did we see the, you got the big liquidation wick, but, that's basically just based off liquidations, right? But in the end of the day, if all those liquidations didn't occur, we probably would have just gotten the fast drop down to our key level. And you can see, like right now, we're just kind of hovering around that major key level that we were looking at based off these high volume nodes, right? You slip it really quick, but then we reclaim this high volume node. And again, if those liquidations didn't occur, we probably would have just got that fast drop down to where we were looking. You just kind of get that really scary, oh, we're going to zero. Never mind. Just kidding. We're out of key support, right? So, that is that is kind of the volume gap. Now, I will say this, as we take a look at some of these other levels, let me see here. So if we did get another push to the upside, because you got to remember here, right? We are technically sitting at the value area high, POC confluence, which is obviously going to be key support, right? So you come on down here. If we're able to hold above the POC and value area high of this range, I think I said value area low before, but if we're able to hold above here, if we are able to see a little bit of a push to the upside here, I will say, big resistance remains exactly the same as what we've been looking at on Ethereum, guys. It's the golden pocket value area low. I do believe we have a daily naked point of control in there as well. Yeah, so we do have some confluence on this golden pocket. So there's two major levels I will be looking at as key resistance, right? As you guys know, once you wind up leaving a value area, which we've technically left this one, if we continue to the upside, you're going to look to approach that value area low of the previous range, right? So we push up, value area low, golden pocket, daily naked point of control. This is your first major key level of resistance. And again, the trend based off the money flow would be a continuation to the downside, but maybe this daily green dot does give us a bounce from this level. hopefully it can. You got your 3-hour money flow crossing back into the red again. It's a little bit chopped up here as far as money flow goes, just because of the, violent move to the downside and the choppiness that we're seeing right now. But, just from a level standpoint here, if we get that push to the upside, key level of resistance, first key level of resistance is going to be that daily naked point of control value area low golden pocket sitting between $29.90 or $3,000 and $29.28. Now, this, we don't know, right? And this fib is pulled from the local high all the way down to the bottom of that liquidation wick. So if we are going to look for continuations to the downside here with that money flow coming out on the daily, right, we know that those lower highs are likely to come in at two major areas, right? The golden pocket or that 786. And I will say, although we do have some confluence on this golden pocket, I do like these higher levels a little bit more, in my own personal opinion, just because of the confluence we have up here. And you might be saying to yourself, Frankie, there's only a 786 there. I'm going to pull up those levels in a minute. So if we do come down, right, we don't know if we're going to put in that lower high. We don't know if it's going to come in at the golden pocket or that 786 retracement. But these are going to be two big levels that I'm looking at for potential rejections, especially if we are going to continue that lower high, lower low scenario to come down to lower prices and potentially fill that liquidation wick. These would be very, very large levels that I would be first looking at for those rejections, right? And again, golden pocket value area low, daily naked point of control is somewhat confluent, but if we look here up towards that 786, which is sitting at about $3,150, and I start pulling up some of these other key levels of resistance. We have a weekly level here at 32.31, and then we can pull up some of these other naked points of controls. We have a weekly naked point of control and daily naked points of controls. You guys can see here, this is a super confluent level of resistance, right? You could see, sure, we have some confluence here. And again, does this mean that, just because there's not 50 different levels in here, does it mean that we can't reject? Absolutely not. That's why I'm going to be looking at these as two separate zones. But if, let's say, we come up here, right, we don't put in the lower high, we don't get bearish confirmations, we don't take the short, and we look to get above that value area low, that's where we can look for that next move to the upside into this much more confluent area of resistance, which is honestly a pretty big zone, guys. This is really sitting between, technically, you could pull this all the way up from about 33.50 all the way down to that 786 at about 31.50. Now, and you could see, right, massive high volume node here. And you could see, right, we even have another reason why this is a little bit less confluent, in my opinion, is because you could see this volume gap that we have kind of leading up towards this bigger level. So we come up towards that golden pocket and we get above here, right? You could start to, get that quick move through that volume gap. But then this would be the next major level of resistance I would be looking at on Ethereum. And most recently, pretty much these are the same levels we've been looking at. But I did just want to pull up this extra confluence here because there is a ton of levels above us here. Starting at that golden pocket, really between 3148 and 3300. And I really hate looking at zones this big because it makes it kind of hard to look for your setups because you don't know, right? If you get up here, you don't know if you're going to reject the 786. Is it going to be the weekly naked point of control? Is it going to be the weekly horizontal? Is it going to be the daily naked point of control? Is it going to be the daily horizontal? The daily naked point of control? You don't know which level is going to reject here, but it is important to understand all that confluence that you have in here. So those are the two major levels. If we do get the bounce to the upside, I would look for a potential lower high on these two major zones. And then obviously once we start losing that, you have the key volume profile down below, get below the value area high, look for that continuation to the downside. And we'll see. To be honest, guys, this is just not a place where I would be looking for trades, right? Because again, we're between two volume profiles, and just in general, it's it's a low probability situation for me, and I really only like to take the highest probability trade. So I'm happy to see something happen here. I was hoping something would have happened today or yesterday to just get a better kind of read on Ethereum here, but we're really just sitting between these two volume profiles. So we'll see what happens. If we can get that daily green dot to give us a bigger push up, these are 100% the levels that you want to be looking at. And again, based off money flow, this is definitely a situation that we could see happen for the bigger drop down. And again, hopefully we don't have to see it, but that is pretty much what we're looking at here on Ethereum. Now, if we come down first, we just have this volume profile down below, so we'll just reassess that situation. But we have the daily green dot here. It's a double green dot. It's a double daily green dot, a DDGD. So yeah, maybe that gives us the push to the upside, but I'm not really loving money flow here. So we'll see what happens on Ethereum, but those are definitely the key levels to be watching, in my own personal opinion. Very, very confluent area. Let me check some anchored VWAPs here real quick. I think we do have one. Is it pulled from the top? Whoops. Let me see. Anchored VWAP, pull it from the top. Yeah, you're literally from the top here at 4,100. That anchored VWAP comes through here as well. And then I can almost guarantee you, I'm not 100% sure, so don't take this to the bank yet, but if I pull it here, probably going to be coming in on that golden pocket if I had to guess. Come on, make me a fortune teller, Ethereum. Come on. Yeah, man, if we come up there, it could be flowing through there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Those are definitely the big levels to watch, though. And again, hopefully, I will just keep this in mind, guys. If Ethereum gets the bounce and the rejection, altcoins are very likely to get absolutely decimated. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully we don't have to see that. Hopefully, and again, the bullish case here, if we just wind up, yoinking into this value area, we somehow don't reject off any of this resistance, you could eventually get above this high volume node, look to go to the POC, look to go to that value area high, very simply put. But again, I would put that as a little bit of a lower probability situation with the way things look right now. But if new information comes in, we can make a new plan tomorrow. But we'll see. Likely, if we do get that move up, we'll kind of have an idea if that daily is going to give us a bigger move up or just put in that lower high. It's really going to have everything to do with the 16-hour and the daily money flow. Maybe the 16-hour really starts crossing over into the green as we come up here. Then we maybe could come up with a new plan. But as of right now, that's what I'll be looking at on ETH. So pray for ETH, baby. Pray for ETH. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Shunzin says INJ is rebranding soon. Hopefully they're not going to end up like Sonic or like Matic. Oh, God, man. I don't know how rebrands in crypto don't have a very good track record. Let's see. Shout out to Felix. Said, Frankie, I got wrecked on that wick. Shout out to Felix, bro. You are not alone. You were part of the one of the biggest liquidations to ever happen here. So a lot of people got wrecked there. So don't feel bad, Felix. Don't feel bad, bro. Let's see. Gene Lee says, buying H-bar at 16 cents would be great. I would have to agree with you there, bro. H-bar is one of those American-made cryptos, which could be capital gains tax-free, which would be very nice. I've been talking about that. If you go over to CoinMarketCap and go to the U.S.-made coin section, I'm just going to say, right, I said this a couple weeks ago, that might not be a bad place to be hanging out looking for big dips to buy if you're looking to stack up on altcoins. Those U.S.-made cryptos might not be bad ones to look at. Ondo's on that list. H-bar, XRP, right? You got a lot of pretty decent projects in there, as well as kind of that U.S. narrative that you have going with Trump in office now. So we'll see if that works out. Let's see. Okay, so with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and continue on here. Let's see. Shout out to Gen Z said, don't pray for it. Buy more before you lose. I think it says but more before you lose, but I think he probably says buy more before you lose. Yeah. I mean, definitely not a, it's really hard, right? Because, yeah, we're in a difficult situation right now, guys. I've been saying that for the past couple of days. Very difficult situation right now because, at the end of the day, especially on Ethereum, because obviously Ethereum is going to kind of lead a lot of those altcoins. It is, even if I hide some of this stuff, let me take a grander look at Ethereum here. Let's hide some of this stuff. Bada boom, bada bing. May value area. Where is the macro value area? There it is, right? So, like this, again, this also, if we look at this from this standpoint, right, this value area low of the macro bull market range from 2021, if we do wind up, right, like if you're looking at this from a volume profile perspective, right, this has been holding up. We get above the value area low. This is where Bitcoin was pretty much breaking 30K, and that's where on Bitcoin we were looking for the fill of the macro range up to 48 to 50K. Ethereum followed suit, getting above that POC, filling this range up to $3,500 for a very, very nice move. We deviated above, came back into the range, deviated one more time, got stuck in the range, back to the POC, back down to the value area low, and you can see we just kind of rotated that once again, back above the POC, back to value area high, deviated, back into the range, back down to the value area low. Now, with that being said, right, we look at this. Whoops. We did front run this value area low, right? We tapped it here, we front ran it there, and we front ran it here. Now, if we did wind up coming down here, this would probably be the context I would be looking at on price, right? Because if we do wind up coming down here, we fill that wick and we sweep that liquidity down below, this gives us somewhat of a nice kind of context to look at on price, because at that point, you're deviating below that macro value area low, which is 100% a place where we look for longs to get back into the range, back to the POC, get above it, and then potentially see the fill of that range to the value area high, and then maybe that is where we see Ethereum blast off into all-time highs if we're going to see that happen, right? Which, again, I think is very, very probable. But again, not impossible that Ethereum doesn't make a new all-time high, right? Like I said, I don't want to beat that horse. We've been talking about Ethereum a lot recently. But let's see. Shout out to Overcome. Oh, and shout out to Overcome said Frankie's TA has me tempted to sell something to buy in lower. Yeah, shout out to Overcome. Oh, I guess you mean like physical assets, like sell your car to buy some more crypto. I mean, here's the thing, right? And the reason I brought this up was because it's a little bit of a difficult situation, right? Because it's like, could the low be in? Sure, right? It's like very, very hard to call, right? Like Market Cipher is definitely looking like money flow wants us to come back down, which seems like kind of brutal, right? It's like, Frankie, how could we possibly continue down more? But again, that I'm just bringing the information on the charts, right? It doesn't mean, potentially the low could be in, that money flow fakes out, and we just yoink out to all-time high there. But I have to stick to the charts and the TA. And it does look, just like on Bitcoin, like any bounces to the upside would look more probable until we see that money flow crossover into the green for a lower high and a continuation down. And I'm just trying to think of any scenario, if that were to happen, what would I look for? And you start looking at this scenario here with the macro value area, and it's like, hey, well, if we deviate below here, hey, I mean, that would be a pretty nice situation to be potentially looking for long positions. So yeah, that's what I would be looking at there on Ethereum, guys. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Smash that like button. If we get 1,000 likes, we're giving away $150 in Solana on Friday's live stream, tomorrow's live stream. So smash that like button. Please, for the love of God, if you're getting any value out of this live stream and you want to help support the channel, it's the easiest and most free way to help out this YouTube channel and spread the word of the Candle Mafia out into the crypto universe to recruit more cult mafia members. We're not a cult. Hashtag not a cult. Shout out to Chemistry Bro said, 2 missed super chats. Hey, shout out to Chemistry Bro. Thank you for that, bro. I appreciate you. Let's check out those super chats. Let's see. Shout out to Jacob. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says, could market makers be suppressing price in anticipation of a strategic reserve so they can buy lower? And how do they do it? Is it coordinated? Shout out to Jacob. I mean, this could be a potential scenario. There's really, in my opinion, there's really no way to, kind of confirm this unless you're looking at the actual wallets of the suspected market makers that you're talking about. Definitely something possible. I genuinely don't trade based off of that. This is the wonderful thing about, being a trader, right? Like I say this all the time. At the end of the day, guys, we are simply just trading the price action. Right now, I know a lot of people are here to hold, right, and buy long-term spot bags, which is why we do the higher time frame TA as well. But for me personally, right, like I wouldn't trade based off something like that. You can use it in your analysis, and I'm not saying you couldn't trade based off that. I just personally don't do that. I'm looking at liquidity. I'm looking at the key levels, and when you trade that way, right, it kind of like just becomes ups and downs on the charts, right? Like this does not scare me, right? All I see here is a big liquidation event that you can potentially front run or call based off understanding where liquidity lies in the market. So I am more of like just a straight technical trader. So, but that is definitely something that could be the case. But I don't know. It would be kind of a hard bet for me to make, to be like, I think this is exactly what's happening, so I'm going to buy this dip. I don't want to wind up just buying dips until zero. And that's kind of the dangerous situation that we're at, right? It's like, at the end of the day, right, Market Cipher would say, hey, you might have a chance to buy ETH lower, but is that guaranteed? Absolutely not, right? This market is very, very hard to, any market is very hard to predict to the dollar, which is why it's all about, if you're looking to buy, it's so much better to dollar cost average. This is obviously different than the short-term trading, but, that's why if you're looking for the long-term spot bags, I always recommend dollar cost averaging. This is by far the best way to do it for your long-term bags. I do not, right? Like, even as Frankie Candles, right? Like, I am not sitting here being like, oh, that's it. All the signs are on the chart. $868 is the bottom. Let me buy all my ETH. That is not how I do it, right? I am simply trading based off the technicals. I wait for significant money flow crossovers into the red, right? You had your weekly money flow crossover into the red here on Ethereum, and that's where you can start buy a little bit, buy a little bit, buy a little bit, buy a little bit, and then you're buying throughout this whole range, right? You buy a little on the way down, and then that's okay if you buy a little on the way up, and you're just kind of dollar cost averaging, giving you a pretty decent entry, for the next big move to the upside. So, that's definitely the best way to do it in my own personal opinion. So, but yeah, I do think it's a plausible scenario. Shout out to Jacob. It could be possible. Just really, really hard to confirm, to be honest. But yeah, shout out to Jacob. Thank you for that super chat, and thank you for the I like that. I like that you brought that up, because it is definitely something that could be at play here potentially. But a lot of it's the thing. It's like a lot of people could say that, and then it's like, all right, well, how low are they going to bring this thing, right? And then it's like, okay, wait, hang on, we're just in a bear market here. That wasn't manipulation. It's really hard to call, but definitely a plausible situation. Shout out to Moral Kai. I think I said that wrong, but shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, can we do virtuals /arrow Yes, we could try to take a look at virtuals and arrows. I will definitely write those down. Or shout out to Rob. Let's do like 3 requests. If you could drop those on the list, and then we'll take like one or two. Let's do 3 or 4 requests. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all of them. Shout out to Tony D. Says 11% of you say that it's your first stream. Welcome, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to your subscribe to your channel. Well, subscribe to your channel and my channel, so you don't miss these live streams, guys. Because we, sometimes we get it right. But anyway, let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Hey, Frankie, can you do a video on trailing stop losses? Can't quite figure it out. Shout out to APX. I don't know if you're talking about automatic trailing stop losses that the exchanges offer. I don't personally use those, but I will trail my stop loss manually, right? So like on this short position, which is like hilariously just always at $2,046 in profit. But like I said, right, once we got this drop down, I locked in about $700 in profit, still up $2,046, and my stop loss is here in profit, just below that entry above this high, right? So for me personally, this is how I trail my stop loss. So, what better way to do this than just to show you exactly what I'm doing, right? So if I, as price comes down, right, I'll move my stop loss to break even. I'll take money off the table, move my stop loss to break even, turning that into a guaranteed winning trade. And then once I do that, right, if price continues down, then I'll start to trail that stop loss. I'll let it live above this high, right? And then let's just assume, right, let's say we do get another break to the downside. We break this low. Maybe then I bring my stop loss. I hover it below these highs or maybe above this high. And then I will just manually trail this down, right? And then as price continues down, we could continue to capitalize on these, moving that stop loss into profit, further into profit, increasing our gains while still keeping open the opportunity of capitalizing on more downside. So me personally, I just do it manually, right? I've never used an automatic trailing stop loss. I just don't trust it. I like to be very technical with my moves, right? So I don't just want to say like, hey, if we get to this level, I want to come out, or I want to get out of the trade. So I just manually drop it down. So like, for example, here, again, if I came down here and broke this low, I'd probably drop my stop loss below these highs, right? Or maybe even below this high, depending on what the price action looks like. So I just do it manually. But yeah, maybe I can make a video on that. But a lot of my videos, a lot of the trade breakdowns that we do here, I do kind of talk about how I, once we get into profit, right, we hit TP1, I'll take some money off the table, move my stop loss to break even, and then as price comes back down, we can move our stop loss into profit and, maybe take some more off the table. But yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. I don't really use the automatic stop losses. I can try to play around with it just to kind of like do a video and explain how they work. But to be quite honest, I don't really have a lot of experience with them because I just do it manually. So hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Shout out to Jesse. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, everyone who didn't smash the like button may get liquidated. Not financial advice. Actually, yes, if you smash the like button, it lessens your chances of getting liquidated on your next trade, guys. This is a proven thing. It's back tested for many years. But yeah, Frankie Candle's like button will protect you from getting liquidated because if you're watching the stream and you're liking the stream, you'll know to set a stop loss. So it actually is proven. Let's see. Shout out to Satoshi Chronicles. Says, Frankie, I'm just struggling on when to stay in or get out. I'll get out as soon as I'm in profit when I see the price go back up. Shout out to Satoshi. I mean, listen, bro, if you are taking profit, if you're getting out of your trades in the green, there's really nothing wrong with that. But the reason you're probably not understanding when to get in or out of the trade is because it sounds, right, this might not be the case, I could be wrong, but it sounds like you might not have a clear plan for your trade. So what I recommend, shout out to Tony D, if you could drop the video to the trade recap that I did, the volume profile, it's like the only strategy you need. I break down a Bitcoin trade that we took in the premium Discord and exactly not only what we looked for to find the setup, I talk about the exact confirmations we looked at to take the trade, and then I also showed you how I managed that trade step by step as price action moved up, right? And it all starts with a plan, and I talk about that in that video. If you guys have not seen that video, go check it out. It's extremely important. It's not too long, and it will give you everything you need to know. It'll answer a ton of the questions that I know a lot of people have in the chat right now. So go watch that. It's totally free, right? Go watch the beginner series, but definitely check out that video. It's super, super saucy. And shout out to Tony D. I'm sure he is grabbing that link. But Kembro or Darren or Tyler or Rob, if you don't see that pop in from Tony in the next like 5 minutes, if you guys could try to grab that video, I would appreciate you. Profit is profit though, but that's the big thing, Satoshi. If you're closing your trades in profit, bro, pat yourself on the back. You are literally ahead of 99% of people. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. We only got 310 likes, guys. Let's see if we can run it up to 450 in the next 30 seconds. On the count of 3, smash that like button. We're going from 310 to 450. 3, 2, 1. Smash that like button, please, for the love of God, guys. We'll give away $1,000. Not $1,000. Maybe we'll give away $1,000 if we hit 1,000 likes. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. K. Diggity said 310. Are you kidding me? Oh my God! Smash that like button, guys. 450 is what we're going for here. That's the first goal. They got to know when they're getting into. We don't call it the mafia for nothing. Shout out to V-Dub. Oh God. There we go. Thank you, Ken, bro. I appreciate you for dropping that link, brother. All right. So let's continue on here. Crypto Cult, shout out to HJM Construction. Let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here. Let's take a look at what are they? Arrow was one of them. What was the other one? Forget what the other one was. So let's take a look here at Aerodrome. So this was, I mean, hey. This is, we basically, I mean, to be honest, guys, right? Like, that drop to the downside was absolutely brutal. Don't get me wrong. But we really just came down to the next support levels, right? Like, it was the bearish cases that we were looking at. All those key levels are what we are currently holding right now. Shout out to Henny said, which videos do you recommend I watch first? Shout out to Henny, bro. I would go to the beginner series and just watch through all those videos. They should be in order, starting with the TradingView Masterclass. You probably want to start there to figure out how to set up the charts, and then just work your way down. And that should get you through most of what you need to know. And that is, guys, basically a free trading course. So smash that like button, guys. If you want a free trading course, like this stream, because it all lives on this channel. Not only the beginner series, but every tutorial we've ever done on this channel is what a lot of people would charge for. So check it out. It's 100% free. And we appreciate the likes to help push us out there into the YouTube algorithm. Let's see. Is there, shout out to Aziz says, is there a big difference between trading decisions when using the free version of Market Cipher versus the paid one? I've heard money flow is a little different. Yeah, shout out to Aziz. Let me turn the fan on 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. So yeah, I actually did a bunch of back testing on the, I assume it's the Fu Manchu is what you're talking about. I actually did a bunch of back testing recently on that. The money flow is off on Fu Manchu. Now, does this mean that that indicator is absolutely useless? No, but I do much prefer the money flow on the actual paid Market Cipher B. They're not the same indicator. It's basically it's not even like free version versus paid version. It's a completely different indicator. So again, it doesn't mean that it's completely useless. However, it is definitely different. And in my opinion, when I'm looking at money flow, that's like one of the biggest things that I look for on Market Cipher B, right? Like, as far as finding divergences, which again, I also use Market Cipher B for, but you could always find divergences on the RSI or, any other momentum oscillator that you're using. But when it comes to money flow, this is something that is very, very hard to replace, right? Like if somehow Market Cipher was like taken off the market or something and you couldn't use it anymore, money flow would be the hardest thing, in my opinion, to replace. Let's see. Shout out to Jacob Wilson. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, what is the indicator that shows the liquidity levels? That is called High Block Capital. It is it's actually a platform. It's a website. And if you guys want to get access to any of this stuff and you want to try to save some money, we do have links in the description. We have Market Cipher discounts. We have High Block discounts. So you can check the links in the description or go to frankiecandlestrading.com. All our discounts are on that website. And if you guys are looking for a place to trade, we have all those links in the description down below as well. But again, I'm not trying to shill my stuff here. If you can find a better deal somewhere else, please go save yourself as much money as possible. But we do have discounts. But yeah, there we go. All right, let's continue on. Shout out to VW John. No, there's not a free version of Market Cipher, at least that I'm aware of. They are different. They are different, unfortunately. But let's see. All right, let's continue on and take a look at some of these altcoin chemistry. Bro said Rob the Crypto Snob was not here. Shunzin said, guys, Frankie is the best sensei you get right now. Shout out to Shunzin. I appreciate you so much, bro. Let's see. Just checking in on chat real quick before we move on to the altcoins. Gen Z said, if you literally watch all that and understand it, you're literally halfway there to trade. No cap. Shout out to Gen Z. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like, I like to push the free stuff, guys, because guys, the way I run this channel is I wanted to create a channel and a community and an ecosystem that I would have killed for when I was learning to trade, right? I was not in any communities, probably one of the biggest mistakes I ever made. We have a free Discord as well, which is super, super valuable just to get in there with like-minded traders that are likely ahead of you, especially if you're a complete beginner, and they can help you avoid a lot of the beginner mistakes. And I wish I did that. Unfortunately, I did not. And it probably would have saved me a lot of time and headache and a lot of money, most importantly. Yeah, shout out to Michael S. says buy Market Cypher during the holidays. Yeah, during Black Friday, all the indicators and all the platforms give like crazy discounts, but unfortunately, it's very far away. Shout out to Tony D. Thank you for dropping the Discord link there for the free Discord. But yeah, Frankie has the biggest heart in crypto. I heart this guy. Shout out to K-Ticket. I appreciate you, bro. But yeah, I wanted to create an ecosystem and a community that I wish I had, right? Like I wish there was someone who went live and interacted with the chat and actually answered questions on like the nitty gritty of what was going on. But most people just lock everything behind like a $3,000 a month thing, right? Like there's just all this, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? We have a paid Discord as well, but I always push people towards the free stuff first, right? Because what's the point of being in a premium Discord that you're paying for when you're completely lost on what's being talked about in there, right? So I like to like genuinely, put people in the right direction. I genuinely want to help people. I don't want to. I'm not here for a money grab, guys. Like I do this because I love it and I enjoy helping people. But yeah, there you go. I am super bullish on Frankie's ecosystem. Shout out to VSun. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue on here. Let's see. All right, let's see. Bada boom. Okay, so Aerodrome. Yeah, like a lot of these drops, guys, like we were looking at the bearish scenario bringing us down to these next key levels, right? Which is a macro 786 value area high retrace, or macro 786 retracement value area high. And, again, right, like once you wind up losing a value area, you are going to anticipate price to come down and get gravitated towards your previous area of balance, which obviously is kind of happening here. This is super wacky price action here, but if we are able to break down below this value area high and get a move towards that POC, right, then we're just looking at this as another volume profile with a high probability. Once you can't get back above that value area high, super high probability of coming down to that POC, lose the POC, next target very much becomes the 50-cent value area low. So just pretty simply, those are your key levels down below. So if you got to drop down below this value area low, not only are you losing the value area high, not only are you losing that value area high, but you're also losing that 786, which would kind of invalidate a big bounce from here to continue back up. And I would probably anticipate a fill of this range, at least to the POC, if not very likely down to the value area low. Now, if we do wind up coming back up, obviously, we have the key resistance. This doesn't really change, pulled from the high to the low here. We got to move up. We didn't really hit the golden pocket, so if we do come back up, golden pocket, 786, value area low confluence here. And again, you have the POC and the value area low very close to each other here, which kind of gives you a bit of a, confluent area to get a rejection from, right? Because if you're new here and you don't know about the volume profiles, guys, you're going to hear this word a lot, and it is the absolutely goated trading tool, the best trading tool you could possibly use. And the way it works is once you have the value area low, the POC, and the value area high on any volume profile you have. You have your low, POC, high, POC, low. Right? High, POC, low. And once you get into these zones, right? And this is why I recommend you watch the tutorials, because I'll show you exactly how to use these. Once you get below a value area high, it is extremely likely. There's like about an 80% chance that you come down to the POC and then lose the POC and potentially come down to the value area low. This is how we trade. And then not only that, but once you lose a value area, let's say you come down and you're bing-bonging around here and you impulse out of this range, you have a very high probability target to the upside. And you could say, well, hey, the market range is 80% of the time, so when we impulse, price is very likely to attract to another one of these value areas, right? So with that being said, if we come up here, I would definitely be careful around this entire zone, really sitting between golden pocket starting at about $1.04, and that top, the POC comes in at about $1.19. So once you come up in here, this is the highest probability area to continue the downtrend, get the rejection back down into that lower range. And this is pretty much what I would be careful of, right? And if you are able to get above this value area low, typically the value area low is the key level to flip in order to fill the range in full. However, in this case, you have the POC very close to that value area low. So I've been looking at this as an entire kind of zone, right? So you really want to flip the POC to look for that bigger move up towards $1.42. But other than that, if we take a look at the higher time frames here, I will say this, you do have bullish divergences into this key level, and your money flow has been in the red for a little bit. So it's really hard to call if this is going to be the bottom of the red money flow wave. But if you get that bounce, with money flow being in the red on the higher time frames, it does make you anticipate a continuation to the downtrend, like today, just starting to cross over into the red. And, more often than not, when you get those crossovers into the red, you do get the continuation down. So you do have to be careful of that. Money flow always is going to indicate the longer-term trend. We use this as a filter of when we are looking for lower highs, or if you're basically looking, you want to favor shorts or longs. When money flows in the red, you're going to anticipate lackluster bounces to the upside to put in lower highs and continue back down. Right? That is simply what you're going to be anticipating when money flows in the red. And in this case, 2-day money flow in the red, like the possibility of this happening could be somewhat high. So be careful around those resistance levels. If you get above the POC, that's where I would look for a move into $100.42, not $142, $1.42 for Aerodrome. Now, again, bull divs here on the daily. If we can get that green dot, I think that's the signal you would need to get that bigger drop into, or a bigger rip into the value area low POC. So just, watch out for that. But then we come on down to the 4 hour, money flow, it comes up, back down, comes up, back down. It's really hard to read down here, right? We don't really have, you have bullish divergences, but money flow is just not that clean. So I'd really be paying attention to those higher time frame kind of scenarios. Hey, shout out to Crespo Crypto. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, hello, Franklin. I've missed you. Can you check out others BTC on the weekly? We are sitting on a crucial trend line, but I do see a weekly bull div, which would be very, very good for alt season. So shout out to Crespo Crypto. Yeah, we could try to take a look at that in just a minute, bro. Thank you for that super chat. And shout out to All-Star Auto Group. Thank you for the super chat as well. Says, hi, Frankie. If you have time, can we take a look at Doge's daily green dot and 90-minute money flow crossover on the market Cypher B, or as he calls it, Market Copper B? Shout out to All-Star Auto Group. Yeah, we'll try to take a look at Doge. Let me jump into others BTC right now. Bada boom. Am I going to be able to find this? I missed the Frankie. I missed the Franklin emoji. Drop the turtles in the chat, baby. Drop the turtles in the chat. Let's see. I don't think I've ever looked. Usually, I just look at others. Is others doing something similar? Is the question. Crespo, if you could drop a ticker in there, I would appreciate it. But let's take a look at others in general on the weekly. I mean, here's the thing, right, on others. And if you don't know what others is, it's basically just looking at the altcoin market, excluding, like, the top 10, right, excluding the big boys. It's kind of like the kind of lower cap altcoin situation, or lower cap altcoins. And let me pull up the high here. So, I mean, from a volume profile perspective, right, even if we pull up something like the daily here, I mean, it's kind of similar to it's kind of similar to Ethereum, if I'm being honest, right? Like, when we look at Ethereum, right, we have that macro bull market top from 2021, right? And let me just double check where I have that pulled from. I think I have all the highs. Let me see here. Bada boom. Yeah, so it's pulled pretty much from April 15th. So let's see here. Yeah, so it's kind of pulled. Yeah, it's basically this entire range here. So let me just pull that real quick. So yeah, this is probably this is in a super similar situation as Ethereum, which pretty much makes sense, right? But this could be. There's two major ranges I would look at on others. Come on. There we go. Bada boom. Yeah, I mean, it's almost exactly the same. It's almost exactly the same, right? I wish, I don't want to spend the time like trying to pull the exact range. I mean, I always say I'm not gonna, and then I just try to do it. But for the most part, right, you have this overall volume profile sitting here. I can actually probably extend this down a little bit to about here. Does that move it at all? Not really. Moves this down just a slight bit. But yeah, this is kind of your overall range here, right, from the 2021 top. Let me lock this so I don't have to keep selecting it. So, right, you get above the low. You got to move into the POC. You make your way up towards the high. You lose the POC, back down to the low. You reclaim it. You go to the POC. You go to the high. You deviate. You get back in. You can't. Bearish rejection. You cannot break out. You come back down to the POC. At this point, guys, I'm not going to lie. Money flow coming into the red here. I mean, from a chart perspective, I would have to lean just based off the TA, right? I would have to lean for a potential continuation down towards that value area low. Right now, there's probably going to be noise there, right? We get these higher time frame green dots to print. You may be able to get a push back up, but at the end of the day, based off your volume profiles, it could be a potential continuation down here, which would be very, very bad in my own personal opinion. But let me pull some fibs here real quick. At the end of the day, yeah, I mean, we wicked down towards the 786. We did not quite tap it. So, yeah, I mean, in general, right, you lose the POC, you're going to be looking down towards the value area low. If you lose the golden pocket, you're going to be looking down towards the 786. So it's very similar to everything else, right? You come down and fill this wick. You have the 786 and then potentially the value area low. If we came down here, I mean, at the end of the day, that's really where we would be looking for longs if we were trading something that looked like this, right? So, you know, this is a context that you can look at. And I'm actually going to keep this on the chart. So let me go ahead and 2021 range. Right, and then we'll grab this, and we'll call this local range. Right, so I'm going to hide this, and then you pull up your local range here, right? This is a little bit more tangible for the short term, right? Value area low comes in here at about 247.08B. That's your key support, right, locally. But then you lose it, just understand you have that bigger range low getting much deeper down here. And you can also, I mean, this looks basically like Ethereum almost, right? Which kind of stinks, right? Because, yeah. But anyway, let's take a look here, right? You also have kind of the lower accumulation range down here. Again, very similar to Ethereum, right? You accumulate, you break out, you get back into your old range, come above, deviate, come back in, go back down to the low. So these are other levels that you can look at on others as well. But I will say this, like on the weekly, you know, money flow is coming out. VWAP could be coming up. But, I mean, guys, from a binary perspective, money flow does not look good right now on a lot of stuff. Doesn't mean you can't bounce in the short term. Also doesn't mean that you can't bounce in the short term and have your money flow fake out and then, you know, yoink off. I got to stop saying that, guys. I got to stop saying that. I'm sorry. Yoink out into, you know, new highs and have your money flow come back up here. But we cannot base that. You have to take the TA at face value, right? And again, 5-day money flow crossover into the red. 6-day money flow about to cross over into the red, does not get much closer than that. And this is just, from a binary fashion, once again, a bearish sign. So that's kind of what I'd be looking at. Shorter term, though, yeah, I don't know. I'd be watching this range. I'd be watching this support down here at 246.9. But there you go. Let's see. Can you explain the golden pocket? I could try to explain the golden pocket. Golden pocket is a Fibonacci level that we look at, and it is made up of the 0.618 and the 0.65. Both of those levels together give us the golden pocket, and this is a big level that when we look to pull our Fibonacci retracements, and we have this in the beginner series, we have a Fibonacci tutorial, right? If we look at this locally, right, we have a high. If we were looking to come in and get a bounce back to the upside, we typically look at the golden pocket retracement as a high probability area to get that bounce from, right? And if you lose the golden pocket, the next area you would get a high probability bounce would be that 786, right? And it's the same thing for the moves to the downside. But go watch that tutorial video if you want to learn more about that. I show you exactly not only how to use the Fibonacci retracements, but how to use them in an actual trading strategy and how to trade using the Fibonacci retracements. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. Oh, okay. Shout out to Kembro. Thank you for that. Let's see. Others. BTC, USD. Am I tripping? Am I tripping right now? Why can't I find this? But yeah, I don't want to get hung up on this too much. I'll try to find this. Maybe we can retouch on it tomorrow's live stream. Then just click enter. Chemistry bar. Are you doing voodoo? Are you doing dark magic right now, bro? What is going on? Hang on. Others. BTC, USD. Am I tripping? Is there something I don't know? Okay. Okay. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. You just did black magic, bro. Chemistry Bro's a wizard. Shout out to Chem Bro. Thank you for that, bro. But yeah, K Diggity said so short. It's hard to say. For me personally, right? I need bigger levels to get hit for me to short. But anyway, let's continue on. Okay, so let's see here. Bada boom. So let me go back to the super chat real quick. Weekly bull div. I see it. You are not crazy. Crespo. You're not crazy. I see it as well, bro. I don't love money flow. I don't love the money flow, right? Like, it's not just one thing that we really want to see. Now, again, could this weekly bull div give you a move? Potentially, but really what I like to see for the bullish divergences to give you big moves is you really want to see, right? You want to see, obviously, lower lows on your price action, but you also want to see the higher lows on your momentum waves, right? Or on your momentum waves, if you're looking at market cipher B on your RSI, you'd be looking at it on the RSI. But what you want your money flow to be doing is, right, say this is the zero line. What I would like to see is, like, let's say this is our zero line. Like, money flow has been in the red for a really long time, and we are starting to see money flow very smoothly creep to the upside, right? And looking to cross over into the green. If you can get a bull div like that with a money flow about to cross over into the green, that, in my opinion, means that this could be a very strong bottom for a massive move and a continuation of the trend to the upside based off that money flow. Now, that is unfortunately not what we have happening here, right? Now again, could that bull div give you a move? Sure. But is it as saucy as if money flow was not, was coming up here? Definitely not, right? So, like, you do have the bull div. You're not crazy. I do see it, right? Whoops. Lower lows, higher lows, right? You got 3 drives there. Not too bad. But again, I would really like to see that money flow creeping up, which we don't have. So, again, it's kind of hard to say. I don't love the money flow, but, you could get somewhat of a short-term bounce here, which wouldn't be impossible, right? A lot of the altcoins got absolutely murdered, so it wouldn't be crazy to see some kind of a correction come into the upside. So, yeah, definitely there. Definitely there, but I would really like to see. We'll see what happens. Let me check the lower daily time frame. Like, what's the 2 and 3 day doing? Yeah, like that 3 days trying to come up, but it's coming back out. It's just a little bit mixed up here, right? Yeah, money flow in the red on the 3 day, dailies in the red. So, yeah, it's not the most beautiful. It's not the most beautiful, but that bull div is there, right? So if you wind up, and you still need to print that green dot. So once that green dot starts to print, it's probably where you would start to see the bounce. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we just kind of dump out and you don't get the green dot at all. That would be the bearish situation. But we'll see. We'll see if that winds up printing. You can see this bull div did wind up giving you some, somewhat of a bounce here. About 58%. So could get something very similar. We just really want that money flow to start coming back up. So there you go. Shout out to Crespo. Thank you for bringing that up, bro. And thank you to Chemistry, bro, for doing Dark Magic. That was fire. I appreciate you. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Jay Violet, said short stream my A star. Shout out to Jay Violet. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I'm not great at short streams. I'm not gonna lie. It's like I actually have something very important to do. And actually, thank you for reminding me about that, because where are we at right now? Yeah, we are running out of time here. So let me go ahead and I'll take a quick look at Dogecoin. Bada boom, bada bing. We'll take a quick look at Doge, and then let's see. Okay, yeah, so let's take a look at Doge real quick. So we have our daily green dot confirmed with our 90-minute money flow trying to creep into the green here. Typically, this is what we call a market cipher B116 strategy, where you have a 90-minute money flow crossover into the green at the same time as a daily green dot. Now, the one thing I do not love about this is that it's pretty close, right? We just confirmed the green dot, and we are about to see that 90-minute money flow crossover into the green. But look at your 80-minute is in the green, in the red. If you look at the 90-minute, it looks like it wants to cross over. But again, with that 90-minute coming out, it's not the prettiest setup. Now, I will say this, right? Like from just a straight technical, technically you do have somewhat of a bull div here on the 90-minute. Green dot confirmed. If you get that money flow crossover, could we see that continuation up? Potentially, right? But I will say it's not the strongest market cipher B116 strategy. It doesn't mean that it won't play out, but it's just not one that I'd be looking at like, oh my God, just because when you come on down to that 80-minute, I don't like how choppy this money flow is. The money flow being choppy like this makes it very difficult to make that confident call. It's really when things look super pretty, right? Money flow is just crossing into the green at the same time, which obviously we really haven't seen recently because things are just chopping to the downside. So it is there. It could give you a pop to the upside. And just to give some general analysis here on Dogecoin, right? We came up to our value area high, deviated, came back down, tapped that POC to the dollar. Can't get back out, right back down towards the POC. The thing I don't love about this is the same thing as Bitcoin, right? Like, even if we did see a bounce here, you have a lot of, like, resistance above, right? You have the POC sitting there, which obviously, if we lose, could call for a much bigger move down two lower prices. But if we get above the POC, right, that's where you can look for a move into the higher time frame levels where we have dailies, golden pocket, 3 dailies, a golden pocket in the 786. This is still key resistance. But yeah, I don't know how much I would love that, right? For me, generally, I don't like taking trades in the middle of a volume profile like this unless like the signals are super, super nice. You do technically have a 10-hour bull div. So again, but like your money flow is absolutely tanking down here. So again, like, could that be the bottom and then money flow just starts ripping back up? Yes, but I just don't love that we're in the middle of the range here. This is really a no-trade zone for me. Again, I don't want to tell anybody not to trade this, right? Because could you just rip out of here? Maybe. But for me personally, this is not something I would necessarily be interested in, but I'm happy to miss out on that long. Yeah, and if we can't get back above that POC, I would probably be more inclined, right? Daily money flow in the red, 2-day money flow. I mean, yeah, we'll see what these high time frame green dots can give us, but yeah, 3-day green dot might be looking to print somewhat soon as well. But yeah, it's not pretty. It's very chopped up. It's not the most beautiful long setup in my opinion, but it doesn't mean you can't get that push up into your key zones. Just not something I'd be interested in. Get stuck below the POC. And again, lose this golden pocket. You're very simply going to be looking down towards that value area low / 786 retracement at about 16 cents. So that's kind of what I would look at there. Yeah, other than that, like shorter term, there's not a lot that we can look at here, right? It's just kind of like, gotta let things play out here. This is just super low probability in my opinion, right? Big drop down. We're kind of just grinding to the downside. This is just, ugh. I don't like this. I want something to make a big move so we can, or just start doing something so we can get our bearings here on the actual charts. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. We took a look at Doge. We took a look at ETH. Yeah, shout out to Tony D. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said sleeping on Frankie and the Mafia means sleeping on potential gains. Absolutely. All right, let's see. So yeah, we took a look at Doge, and what was the let's take a look at virtuals. I've been getting a lot of requests to look at virtuals. Let's take a look at it on MEXC. This is let me get rid of some of this stuff because this I'll keep this. Just get rid of some of these levels just to clean up the chart a bit. Get rid of this. All right, well, let's take a look here. Not a ton of information on the weekly. I mean, you got a bunch of daily green dots down here, right? And I know it's tempting, guys. I know it's tempting that, a lot of people think that if you just long green dots and short red dots, you're going to make a ton of money. Now, does this look good in hindsight? Yes. Is it very likely to be profitable as in real time? Very much not, right? I remember when I first started using Market Cypher, I was like, oh, wow, this is like pretty fire, right? Like red dot, big move down. Green dot, you get to move up. Red dot, you get to move down. Green dot, like maybe we get to move up. It's not that easy. I know we have 3 double green dots down here, but very hard to say, right? You have a double green dot here. What happens? You basically yoink and then down. Double green dot here, yoink, and then down. Double green dot here, maybe the same thing. But as far as levels go, right, yeah, daily, I mean, do you have no real bullish divergences? Let's check the 4-hour here. Exaggerated bull it's just like, it's not pretty, right? Like money flow is coming back out. It is an exaggerated div, right? So you don't have you don't really have a high or low. You just have equal lows, which could play out. I don't find that they play out as well as a regular divergence. But yeah, like even this, like VWAP rolling right back over. Yeah, this is just low probability trading for me, right? Like this is so choppy. This is something I'm not interested in. Not to buy, right? I'm not bearish because of that, but I'm just not interested in, like, there's no real high probabilities here, right? You could argue, right, if you were to confirm this 8-hour bullish divergence, right? Like if I were to make an argument here, I would say, hey, bullish divergence on the 8-hour, green dot prints, maybe your 30-minute money flow comes up if you can get it to come up. I mean, in that case, the roadmap would be come up to your value area low at $1.40, flip that to support, look to come into the POC and value area high at about $1.85. Would I put a high probability on that? Probably not, just because the confirmations are sketchy, right? Money flow is coming out. You do have the bull div. If you take a look at the 30-minute, if I saw this 30-minute coming up really nicely, maybe I'd be more interested. 24-minute, was trying to come up. Now it's coming down. It's just gross. It's just is what it is, right? Low probability trading environment, in my opinion. But, if you did get the push up, this would, I'll just give you the levels here, right? This would definitely be what I'm looking at. Let's pull a fib here from this local high to the low. Yeah, I would probably be looking at something like this. If you get a bigger bounce, pop to the upside, golden pocket value area low, get above that, look to come into the POC. And then once you get out of here, I think you probably have a good chance of getting up to $1.84. But again, it's not like, oh my God, this is a beautiful setup below the value area. Not something I would be interested in, to be quite honest with you. I would just need more clear signs. You know, higher time frame, 2-day green dot looking to print. But again, at the end of the day, I'd probably be looking at that more as some kind of lackluster retracement, even if it's to here. I'd be looking at that as some kind of a lackluster retracement based off what money flow looks like now. If we do get a bigger move up, right, you pump, this would be a pretty big area to look at for a lower high and a continuation of the downtrend. If we're going to continue it, this would also look somewhat, head and shoulders-y, right? So that's something we can look at, right? I mean, we broke the lows here. I would probably lean towards something like this at the moment, right? Unless once you start pumping up, all this money flow cranks heavy cranks back into the green. Then maybe we could change our mind. But I don't know, guys. I hate to be that guy, but as far as money flow goes, this does not look great. We need the fake out. But again, we can't really call that until we start to see that fake out. It's very hard to front run these money flow fake outs. So, guys, I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. I actually got to hop out of here. We just wound up doing another full-length stream. I don't know what's going on, guys. I no more short streams. It's impossible. It's literally pointless to call. Frankie, time's up. Sauce lid must be closed. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us here on the Frank Candles live stream. Smash the like button on your way out. Let's see if we can hit 550 before the music ends. I got a bunch of stuff to do. I got to get out of here. But I love each and every single one of you guys. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Turn on notifications and smash that like button on your way out. And yeah, we'll see what happens on Bitcoin. Pray for it, baby. Pray for it. Are we getting a little push up here yet? We'll see. We'll see if those 1 hour bull divs can give us that local push to the upside. But if you missed the Bitcoin TA, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I'm waiting for the bigger levels to get hit. And if I stop out of that short, it'll be in profit. So no problem with that. No fake out tonight, guys, because I've really literally got to run. But thank you for being here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you all. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go,